Words. Words have so many different meanings. Words have so much power in what they say. Words have so much that it can do to our heart. Julia this morning is without words. She come in this morning whispering and pointing, and I was like, that must be an interesting opportunity. And I asked her, I said, this morning, how about stand up and sing the special for us? For those of you who don't know, Julia has lost her voice. She's got going with a bout of laryngitis. And I said, boy, that would really get over on some of the folks that were more hard of hearing, wouldn't it? When you stand up and begin to act like you're singing and nothing's coming out, and they'd be like, I knew I was getting harder of hearing, but wait a minute, what's happening? And I said, what really would have been good is the rest of us would have been sitting back going, like we could have really heard what was going on. I want to continue this morning with the series of messages we began talking about last week, as we talked about the word love and the various meanings that we use it for. I talked last week about, I love chocolate ice cream once in a while for a snack. But sometimes we even refer to the person that we're married to, like my wife. Y'all now back me up on this. I love my wife. So when my wife comes home, you tell her your husband stood up there in the pulpit and said how much he loved you and missed you. You see, but sometimes we use our words in ways that are not always building up and encouraging. Sometimes we say things that we have to go back and then take back, or sometimes we say things that really tear people down. You may remember the story I shared with you about the young man who had just moved into a town and went and applied for a job at a local supermarket. As he come in, he finally, the man hired him, the store manager did. He said, the only opening we have is in the produce section. But you're welcome to work under the produce manager there. He has been looking for some good help. The young man the town he had lived in before, had worked in a grocery store, and he had experience in the produce section. And so he's pushing his cart out with all his green goods on them, and he's putting everything out. And the guy said, what I want you to do is just rotate the stock. Make sure that you put the latest stuff that was out, make sure you pull it forward, put the other things in the back. And so he is over there where the green leafy vegetables were. And a woman walks up and says, I need some lettuce. He says, well, what would you like? We've got green leafy lettuce, we've got red leaf lettuce, we've got romaine lettuce, we've got iceberg lettuce. She says, I just need a head of lettuce. I want the round lettuce. He said, that would be iceberg. She says, but I only want a half a head. He says, ma'am, we don't sell it that way that I know of. He said, you had to buy it by the whole head. She says, the young man who used to work in here used to sell me a half a head of lettuce. He says, man, we don't sell lettuce by the half a head. It has to be sold because it's already wrapped and prepackaged. When we get it, it's whole. I tell you, I always buy my lettuce by the half a head. He says, well, I'll have to go talk to the manager about that. I've never heard of no such. He storms to the back where the produce manager was, back in the coolers. He's assorting his new shipment of produce that's come in. He says, excuse me, I hate to bother you, but this old bag out here wants to buy a half a head of lettuce. Recognizing the expression on the produce manager's face, he realizes that obviously somebody's standing around. He happens to peek over his shoulder. The woman has followed him to the back of the store. And he says, and this dear lady wants to buy that other half head. Would it be all right? Our words sometimes, we say things that sometimes we have to go back and try to correct. It's good to be able to think on your feet and make up for when we make a mistake. But what if the words were never said to begin with? So that's what I want to talk to you about this morning. The title of the message simply this morning is, say what? You ever done that? Somebody said something, you go, what? Look with me this morning. You can be turning over to Matthew chapter 12. I want us to understand this morning that our words are very powerful. I want us to understand this morning three things as we talk about the way that we say. So I want to, first of all, understand it myself. So I'm going to talk about me. Okay? First thing I need to understand is the power of my words. I have to understand that my words can bring about life or death. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21 says, the tongue has the power of life and death. Those who love it will eat its fruit. Powerful. For instance, you hear of court cases going on. The judge may have the opportunity for someone who has been involved in a murder to either pronounce a death sentence or life imprisonment. In many cases, we have the opportunity to, with our words, to either breathe the word of life into people or pronounce some type of spiritual death on them in a way. You ever been hurt by someone's words? Feel like somebody stuck a knife in your heart and twisted it because you've been hurt that bad? Feel almost like you're dying inside? Yeah. The proverb writer says your words are just that. They can breathe life or death. They can produce life or death.